Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is Alice in Borderland, recap before Season 3. Meet Arisu, a young guy with no real direction in his life. The only things he loves are playing video games and goofing around with his best friends Karube and Jota. Today they're having fun just messing around, but they end up blocking traffic so the cops are after them. They all hide in a bathroom stall, but just then the power goes out. They come out to find that everyone in Tokyo has vanished. So it's kinda like Alice in Wonderland in that our main character Arisu, Alice, finds himself in a strange new world. That night, big instructions light up. It's time to play a game. They meet up with some other players to play a game called Life or Death. It's very straightforward. You're in a room with two doors, and if you pick the wrong one, laser through the head. Yeah, you might have seen this coming. These are games to the death. Now, there's no apparent clues or patterns, so at first they're just guessing, until Karube reminds Arisu that he's smart and good at games. So Arisu remembers there was a map of the building, and if you mark off the rooms that were death, you can deduce the right way out. The prize for winning the game is a playing card. This one, being the 3 of clubs, means they get 3 days added to their visa. Yes, playing the games are mandatory, because if your visa runs out, you're killed with a laser through the head. What's going on here? Where are they? Is it even real, or is it virtual reality? Who's running these games and why? Naturally, we won't find out till the end of the series. Their visa's not up for a couple of days, but Arisu and Karube decide to play the next game in order to get more information. It seems some people have been in this world for a while already. They do learn that the suit of the card is the difficulty and type of the game. This game is tag. They're searching the apartment for the switch that would disarm the bombs before they explode. The tag part comes in because they have to avoid the guy in the horse mask with the machine gun. There's not enough time to check each room, but pretty soon Arisu figures out that Machine Gun Horse is guarding one room in particular. Unfortunately, there's 2 switches that need to be pressed at the same time, so Arisu calls out for help. He's answered by a girl, Usagi, who luckily is an expert climber. She gets on up there, and these two hit the switches just in time. She's like, hey, not bad, man. Maybe I'll see you around sometime. Soon Chota's visa is up, so it's time to play another game. This one is the 7 of Hearts. Hearts meaning it messes with your emotions. It's a game of hide and seek, where whoever's the wolf at the end of the game is the only one who survives. A tragic game to have entered with your best friends. Things get nasty between the friends as they argue about whose life is worth more. Arisu's life isn't worth much. The only good part of it is his friends. Arisu's decided to give the wolf to one of them, but he can't find them, because all of them have come to the same conclusion, and they're like, nah, Arisu, you should live. Except for this random girl, who they kind of force into it. Now you think Arisu's real smart, he's gonna find some loophole so they can all live, but that doesn't happen, and right here at the beginning, Karube and Chota die. Arisu is devastated. He's decided to just give up, but Usagi finds him and drags him back to her camp. It's like, yeah man, I've been there too. Her father was a famous mountain climber, which we can pretend is a real job. He was accused of faking his climb of Mount Everest, so he went to do it again, and he died. Usagi was devastated. So she gives Arisu a pep talk and convinces him to keep living. So they play the next game together, which starts off on a bus. They have 2 hours to reach the goal, which they don't know where it is, so they figure they'll just keep running. Eventually they find a motorcycle, which won't run by itself, because for some reason, any advanced technology with computer chips doesn't work. But its fuel tank is full of diesel, which would get that old bus running, and there's a guy there with a bum leg they had to leave behind. So Arisu resolves to save him and runs that bike back to the bus. Usagi runs ahead to the goal, except maybe not though, because right now it's bursting. A wall of water! I guess the goal was the other way. But Arisu's coming with the bus, and oh, epic jump! They get to safety just in time. And now they realize the bus was the goal the whole time. They would have won if they just did nothing. Now Arisu has new purpose in life. He's gonna win all the games to take down the game masters and save all the players. Earlier, a player who was killed had a walkie-talkie that was telling them to return to the beach. Turns out there's a huge group of players living together at the beach resort, and it's a non-stop awesome pool party. The leader here is a cool party guy named Hatter, and they've almost collected a full deck of cards, which they assume is the ticket to getting home. So it's kind of a great place. The players should be working together, but it's also kind of a cult where the leader holds all the cards. So things are mostly good at the beach, but there's trouble brewing with the militant corps led by General Aguni. We actually met him earlier. He was in the game of tag. He's a real tough guy who tried to just fight the horse mask person. The militant corps is full of bad apples, like this absolute scumbag Naragi. Hatter has been able to keep them under control for now, but it seems like a coup is brewing. Indeed, the next morning, Hatter dies under mysterious circumstances, and Aguni is elected the new #1. Hanging around, calmly watching everything, is the super cool guy Chisia, like Cheshire Cat. He was at the tag game too, where he didn't do much, but had suspicious main character hair. He's working on a plot with his best friend Kuina, and they decide to invite Arisu. With the beach now clearly headed for disaster, he's planning to bail, but first he wants to steal all the cards. He sends Arisu to Aguni's safe, but it was a setup. In fact, it is a double setup to trick Aguni into revealing where he hid the real safe, and Chesia steals all the cards. Arisu is in big trouble, and Usagi's in even bigger trouble from that scumbag Naragi. But just then, the entire hotel is turned into a game arena, Kuina, and it is the 10 of Hearts, the final non-face card missing. The game is Witch Hunt. A random girl has just been murdered, and they have to figure out who done it. Smart Anne tries to start an investigation, but Aguni and the Militant Corps realize, let's just kill everyone, and one of them will be the witch. So the awesome pool party turns into a bloodbath. Creepy katana guy is coming for Kuina. Luckily, she's got awesome karate skills. Her dad was a sensei who made her train all the time, but when she came out as trans, he kicked her out of the house. Meanwhile, Chisia goes to fight the scumbag Naragi, even though he's totally unarmed. Or is he, though? He made himself a flamethrower and lights Naragi on fire. Usagi rescues Arisu, who figures out the twist. The witch was right here all along. The girl killed herself. If they had taken 5 seconds to think about it, they could have avoided killing all those people. But Aguni wants to keep fighting. He's in a real nihilistic mood right now, because turns out Hatter was his best friend from the real world. But running a party cult made Hatter a little bit mad. Aguni wasn't planning a coup, but Hatter thought he was, and so forced Aguni to kill him, and he feels terrible and now just wants to die. But now someone even worse shows up. Yes, scumbag Naragi survived. So Aguni decides to redeem himself by saving the rest of the beach from him as they both die in a blaze of glory. Most of the beach was killed, and the building is destroyed. Good news though, the game is won, and Chishia grabs that 10 of Hearts. Now earlier, the dead girl's friend felt guilty and revealed a secret. She announced that she was the dealer of this game. She left a video explaining how she and her friend were recruited by the game runners to become dealers who help set things up, and she reveals the location of the control room where they're monitoring and watching everything. By the time our crew gets down there, all these people have been killed. Apparently they weren't the game runners, they were just dealers themselves. But now they get a message from theoretically an actual game master. It's this woman, Mira, who was apparently undercover as one of the leaders at the beach. Congrats on collecting all the cards. Turns out it doesn't matter who has them, just as long as the players do. Now they can play the face card games, whose locations are marked by enormous blimps. And that's where Season 1 comes to an end. In Season 2, our crew plays the King of Spades game, which turns out is fighting the King of Spades himself, but he has a gigantic gun. His game is always active, and the arena is the entire city, so he's kind of a constant threat. Our crew decides to deal with him later. For now, they face the King of Clubs. It's a team game that requires 5 people, and they only brought 4 with them, but a 5th player was waiting here. Yes, scumbag Naragi survived again. So we meet the King of Clubs, who turns out is kind of a nice, normal dude. Relatively normal anyway. He is a nudist and refuses to put on clothes. He's designed a fun team game where your points are divided among your players and you gotta search the shipping containers to find items to get more points. But also, if you touch someone, you battle. Whoever has more points wins. And if you battle while holding hands with a teammate, your points are combined. But also you can touch the enemy's base, which gives you 10,000 points. But that's nearly impossible because while you're touching your own base, you have infinite points, and touching someone then will kill them instantly. So the game begins, and it's mostly tag while holding hands, and our team's off to a good start. But the King of Clubs comes for their base, which is a suicide mission, except he brought his whole team with him, and the goalie can only touch one of them. So that guy is lasered in the head, but the team gets an absurd amount of points. So it looks like our crew is doomed. Arisu goes to the King of Clubs like, hey man, good game, let's shake hands. That will start a battle, but it shouldn't matter because the King of Clubs will definitely win. Except Arisu wins. Yes, he pulled a sneaky move. Their friend Tata's tragic backstory is he was a mechanic who messed up one day and got his coworker's hand cut off. And so he came up with the plan, Arisu, you gotta chop my hand off. Then with my wristband hidden in your pocket, you'll have enough points to defeat the King of Clubs. The King of Clubs isn't even mad. He's like, wow, Arisu, I mean, good job. Arisu asks him to explain any of what's going on, and of course, he doesn't say much. But we do learn that he and his friends were once players in the games. Once you beat all the cards, you can stay here full time. And the rules apply to him too. He lost the game, so he's lasered, and his blimp explodes. Meanwhile, Chishia went off on his own to take down the Jack of Hearts. The back of your neckband shows a suit, so you need other people to tell you what it is. But if they lied to you and you get it wrong, you're killed. And they need to start lying to each other because the game doesn't end until they take out the Jack of Hearts. So it's a game of reading people, which Cheshire is very good at. He eventually discovers the Jack of Hearts because of his complex cookie color code, and just like that, Cheshire takes down a face card. Meanwhile, throughout the season, we're trying to figure out the mystery of this place. They find an old film camera where some guy was making a documentary, and turns out everyone who came here right before they saw fireworks, so watch out for that. Elsewhere, Smart Anne decides to try to leave the city, but there's nothing outside the city, just endless wilderness. And the city itself has become completely overgrown, as if way more time has passed here than it seems. When Arisu and Usagi go to take a bath, they run into a bunch of wild elephants, and that seems like a good a sign as any that they should finally make out. But now it's time for a face card game. They're taking on the Queen of Spades. It's a game where when you're tagged, you're swapped to the other team, and the Queen of Spades is a super athlete. Pretty soon she's got a bunch on her side. And the smart thing to do is stay on her team, because at the end, the team with the fewest players is killed. Except the king can't switch sides, and the player team's king is a kid. Usagi's not gonna let him die. She goes into beast mode, starts tagging everyone everyone back. She's like, look, you can survive this game by being on the queen's team, but we can't win all the games unless we take her down. This motivates people to start trying, and in the end, Usagi gets everyone back, so the player team wins, another face card defeated. Chishiya goes by himself again to take down the King of Diamonds, who turns out was also undercover at the beach. Long story short, it's kind of a math game, but it's really a game about reading people, which Chishiya is very good at. In the end, he correctly reads that this guy chose a game of chance because he doesn't want to choose who lives or dies, so Chishiya defeats him by revealing what number he picked to force this guy to choose. And he picks himself, so Chishiya is just soloing all these face cards. The remaining ones get a quick montage, and then we're down to the Queen of Hearts, who's guarded by the King of Spades. All our players meet up there, including scumbag Naragi, who Arisu finally shoots, but not before he shot Chishiya. But Chishiya says he's gonna be fine. Turns out he's fully a doctor, even though he looks 16, and apparently this wound is fatal, so it's not even worth stitching up, but it's gonna take him multiple episodes to bleed out. Now the King of Spades arrives, but our crew gets some help from one-leg bow and arrow girl, who turns out is friends with a Goonie, who also survived and is now ready to redeem himself by taking down the King of Spades. They lead him into an ambush where they all attack him together, but they all miss, and the King of Spades takes them all out. But Arisu was working on the real plan to fill this drugstore with hairspray, so they lure this guy in, then leap out the window and throw the homemade grenade, and blam! King of Spades exploded. All our friends are absolutely riddled with bullets, but they'll be fine. It'll take them a few episodes to bleed out. So it's up to Arisu and Usagi to take down Mira, the Queen of Hearts. And she actually cares about the vague Alice in Wonderland theme. For her game, they're gonna play croquet. But it doesn't matter who wins croquet. To beat this game, Arisu just has to finish playing and not give up. And she seems confident he will forfeit after she explains what's really going on. Turns out they're in the far future, and this whole world is an intense virtual reality game. Wow, mind blown! Except then she says, just kidding, she's just messing with Arisu's head. And unfortunately, it's working. After blowing his mind a few more times, Arisu has no idea what's real anymore. Now she tells him the real truth. This is all in Arisu's head. He's just in a psych ward. Yes, that day they were messing around. His friends were killed in a car crash. Arisu had a complete mental breakdown, and the Borderland games are his way of processing his friend's death. Except, of course, she's lying again. Usagi tries to snap Arisu out of it, but he's just too far gone. Eventually, she cuts herself, and as she's bleeding out, says, Arisu, I love you. And this finally wakes him up. Yes, Arisu is back. They play croquet for another few hours while Usagi slowly bleeds to death. Then Arisu has won, and the Queen of Hearts defeated. It's a huge fireworks show as all the cards have been won. All surviving players are given a choice to stay and become permanent citizens of Borderland, which some people are into. But all our friends who are still hanging in there decide to go home, including scumbag Naragi. They just can't get rid of this guy. Usagi and Arisu have found new purpose in their lives and are ready to go home too. And so we're back in the real world on that fateful day when everyone was hanging out in the plaza. Oh look, there's fireworks. But wait, those aren't fireworks. It's a chunk of meteorite. Yes, it was a crazy natural disaster where all our players nearly died. In fact, Arisu, you could say you were on the borderland between life and death. So apparently that's the real answer. It was a pre-afterlife situation where the players who fought hard enough managed to actually survive. They don't remember the Borderland, but when Arisu has a meet-cute with Usagi, it's like, hey, have we met before? And so these two head off to fall in love and live happily ever after. Except we see a deck of cards and are reminded that there's one we forgot about. Yes, it's the Joker. What does it mean? Are they still in the Borderland and this is all just another game? No one knows because apparently this is where the manga ended. But we'll find out in Alice in Borderland Season 3. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.